everyone. I know that you all have been getting my Teacher Tip Tuesdays for the last couple of weeks if you follow me on Instagram. I forgot to say who I am. This is Dr. K. Childs. I decided that I'm going to be a little bit more visual in the new year, and I would like to start off just doing a few videos about my teacher tips. So the first one that we'll see is the one from today that I shared, and the tip was, I'm going to read it word for word. If using reading logs in your literacy setting, customize the logs for your students' needs. That means I know many teachers, and including myself, I've been guilty, have given a reading log. You have the students um, fill out how many pages they read, have their parents sign, and bring it back. How effective is that? How'd that work out for you? Well, I got tired of it not being very effective, and so I decided I've got to find a way to make this interactive. I've got to find a way to make it to where um, parents know what's going on and they're not just putting their signature, or a brother and sister isn't just signing. So I went back through my files. I still have to dig for a few others. I actually created my own, and I tailored them towards the needs of my students and what we were working on. At the time, I was teaching fifth grade and fifth grade reading in Texas. And if anyone knows anything about Texas, it's an important year for testing, but we have a lot to cover. So before I get into my created reading log, I pulled one. I'm going to be honest, I don't have the source anymore of where it came from, but this one has a little spin. Y'all see at the top where it has numbers. Basically, it has numbers, and each number is a question. So the first part, you would write the day of the week, and then you would put how many pages the child read, and then they would put what number they answered here. So if they answered question number 8 up here, question number 8 is, I predict blank will happen. And so this person said, because the island he is on is like a character in the story, it makes life difficult for him and the setting, the island, is what causes him to change. So I don't know if they even really answered that question, but it was from a book that they were reading. So there's 15 different, I know in some settings we call these stems or question stems, similar to what a question stem would be, but they have 15 different questions, and then the students respond to a book that they're reading. Now, here's how I like that, because it's a little better than just having students write down the page numbers and have their parents sign. But I like the one that I came up with, of course. I said, here's what I do. My students, they're required to read every night for 30 minutes. They could read longer, but they needed to at least get those 30 minutes in. And I have directions on here. It says you can read anything you would like as long as it's appropriate. It could even be a magazine if they'd like. We want to make sure that students are reading something that they're interested in, as well as something that, as well as so that they can make the connections with what we're teaching them with something besides a textbook. I think that's a big problem that our students have, especially coming up in the testing culture. They understand a skill, but they have no idea how to apply those skills later in writing or later in higher level grade levels. So what I did, mine's a little bit different. The students actually end up using, they can use a regular spiral notebook for their reading log. And it's good because they can keep it all together. And for my particular reading log, it looks like this. It has the days of the week, Monday all the way to Friday. And each particular day, I have a certain different thing that they do. They don't always do the same thing. They don't just write down what they read or what they learned. They write down different things based off of what they're reading. So I would have something different. And sometimes it's not even just responding to what they've read. Sometimes when I say responding, it's not just like a written feedback. They might have to draw something. They might have to draw a scene from something or draw an image. Graphics, we do teach them about graphics, so that's important. So for this particular one that I pulled, I think I have a rotation of about 5 or 6 that I created, and I might use this like once a month and then change it each month. Or once every 3 weeks I'll change and do a different one. So this particular one for Monday, I don't know if y'all can see that. It's probably backwards to you all. It says write down 5 words from your reading that you did not understand or words that you didn't use much. Because when you get to certain grade levels, the students are going to say I understand all the words. Well, then find some words that you don't use very much or that's hardly in your vocabulary that you're used to using. That's what I would use. So Monday was focused on vocabulary. Tuesday, graphic organizers are big. You don't know what a graphic organizer is? There's some examples. For Tuesday, I focused on graphic organizers, organizing of text. So they would create a graphic organizer about a topic or a character that they're reading about, and whatever it is they're reading. It may not necessarily be a character. It could be a topic if they're reading informational text. Some examples would be a bubble map, double bubble, all the different maps that we are familiar with. But it's where they get to be visual as well as exploring text and text structure. Wednesday was a simple one. They make a list of 3 questions that they have after they've done their reading log. Okay, so 3 questions that they have about something that they've read. This is just causing them to, 1, draw conclusions, 2, think about what they're reading and actually really process that in their mind. And then Thursday's the fun day. I try to, towards the end of the week, I try to do things that aren't so, strenuous. I try to make activities a little bit more fun and engaging. Thursday was draw a mini illustration from the book or magazine or whatever text you're reading, and then write a sentence or a caption explaining what they've drawn. And then Friday, it's more of a reflective piece. It says write a small paragraph about what you are or what you were reading and how it could have been more interesting. So they're actually doing critical analysis. They're reviewing what they've read. And then, of course, I remind them my expectations on a paragraph. This particular point, it says a paragraph is at least 6 sentences long. So there's a lot you can do, okay? But I made it a point to, 1, you really have to know what you're covering. 2, you have to really know your students, their work habits. As I said, of course, the end of the week gets rough for parents, for kids. So that's why I throw that Thursday. Instead of writing me something, reflect on it by drawing me something. And it doesn't have to be anything. This is something, they've already done their reading for 30 minutes. So these are activities that are short, but they're sweet. So for example, after this, of course, I would still have them, once they're done, if possible, to get their parents to sign at the end of the week, and then on Monday, bring it back instead of every single night, because parents can't sign this every single night. I know. I just know there's a lot going on. So this also came in handy because not only are you still getting some reflection from what they're doing, they're making connections with the different types of text, but they also are talking. You're creating a literacy community. You're talking about what you've read, talking about what they're learning. They're using these graphic organizers that they see. It just really worked really well for me, and it was something that I felt that I should share. If you all have any links to good reading logs or have any good things that we could do to add to what I've shared with you, feel free to leave it in the comments. I want to thank you all for viewing. This is my first video doing these teacher tips, as well as just sharing my perspectives on some things in education. I appreciate you watching this video. I want you to click and subscribe to my channel. There will be lots of more exciting things coming up. I hope everyone has a great rest of your day, whatever time of day it is. And thank you for watching. Bye-bye.